Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wednesday afternoon conference call with Trusts Unlimited. This is Jim George speaking. I'm the non-attorney spokesman and facilitator for Trusts Unlimited. I'd like to apologize for the confusion just before the call. I was on another very important call and was unable to get out of that call in order to get into this call, which is why we kind of had an open forum there and all of the chaos. Again, I apologize for that. This is going to be a very short call. I need to get back to the call that I was on. It has to do with some of the actions of the Treasury Department, which has a direct effect on the reinstatement and revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly walk through the situation as it exists in Iraq today. Those of you calling in for the first time, I will strongly suggest after listening to this call, you go to our call of October 7th to learn more about the program we've put in place to assist you. There was also a good Q&A on that call as well. You can go to either YouTube or IQD calls and then go to Trusts Unlimited, and you can get access to the call of October 7th. One other thing before I forget it, we have been absolutely swamped with phone calls for requests for trust applications, service calls for existing trusts. We are getting upwards of 70 calls a day, and so we've been spending a lot of time returning those calls as well. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the situation in Iraq right now. I'll dispense with our normal disclaimer. We do believe now that we have a very strong window for the reinstitution of the Iraqi dinar in January of 2021. The only serious pending issue in Iraq today, of course, remains payment of salaries for the employees. The interim solution, and let me repeat, the interim solution is for the time being to continue with the auctions, because that still, even though it's a corrupt process, provides a substantial amount of revenue to the government. We have to remember that it's very difficult at this point for the Iraqi government to borrow funds. There is a dwindling amount of U.S. reserve currency that they can use to pay salaries, and to cover that deficit, they're going to still need the auctions. The Parliament is also in the process right now of some serious economic deregulation to expand revenues in the mining, industry, agriculture, and national tourism areas that will produce additional revenue, but of course it's going to take a little bit more time for that to occur. And we also have the price of oil climbing, which is assisting as well. Now, yesterday the Al-Kazemi government did send its white paper to the Parliament. That was on Tuesday, October 13th. It includes a lot of reforms, but the most important one from our perspective is the currency reforms. And these reforms, according to the white paper, will be concluded in their entirety this calendar year. It includes establishing the national education program for citizens in anticipation of the reinstitution of their currency, completion of the project for the deletion of the zeros, and the final release of the lower denoms and the coinage from the 8 regional banks. So once again, the glide path to January is looking better every day, and we continue to believe, for a number of reasons that we've discussed over the last weeks and even months, that January of 2021 seems the most plausible date, and the information that we've received over the last week does nothing other than support that conclusion. Again, I'm sorry for the little bit of a screw up there at the beginning, but I simply could not get out of that call. There was some very important information. I'm going right back to that call, and I will be sharing that information with you next week. But again, 2 quick points. Those of you calling in for the first time, we strongly suggest you go to YouTube or IQD calls to listen to our October 7th call. And as we've been inundated with calls over the last week, we are behind on the calls, but as soon as I get off the call I'm on right now, I'm going to get right back on the phone and contact each and every one of you that's contacted us, either to get our initial package or with questions with regard to your existing trust. So again, thanks for taking the time to listen to this call. things are moving in the right direction. I'm frankly very happy with the information I've gotten thus far, and I will be sharing that with you next week. So thanks again. Have a great week, and look forward to talking to you again next Wednesday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Bye-bye, everyone.